Greetings, my friends, and a hearty welcome to all of you out there in the Dykes network, your guiding light in these turbulent times. And I want to remind you once again that I am the mayor of Realville, and that's where we're at right now. But I want to talk about something really quick that I believe is very important. Another day and another self-proclaimed conservative leader on the internet has a revelation. A revelation, folks. They've suddenly discovered, after riding the MAGA wave to their 100,000 followers and their lucrative supplement sponsorships, that Donald Trump has flaws now. The bravery, the sheer unadulterated courage it must take to state the obvious, to join the chorus of the establishment media. The Democrats, the globalists, all singing the same damn sad little hymnal. They wring their hands. Oh, his tone. Oh, the tweets. He isn't presidential enough for my refined sensibilities. Let me tell you something about being presidential. Presidential is not about bowing to foreign leaders. It's not about apologizing for American exceptionalism. It's certainly not about triangulating and polling every word you say until it means absolutely nothing. These influencers, these paragons of digital virtue, they wouldn't know a real principle if it hit them in their perfectly curated profile pictures. They loved the fighter when he was winning for them, didn't they? They were all too happy to draft behind him, to pick up the catchphrases, to sell the t-shirts, even the cookbooks now. Now the fight gets a little harder, the incoming fire gets a little thicker, and suddenly they developed a conscience. Please, it's not a conscience, it's a business decision. They see a new market opening up, the principled but concerned conservative. This is pathetic. You want to know why? You know why I'm not turning on Trump? Because I don't get my marching orders from some 25-year-old who just discovered William F. Buckley and thinks that makes him a thought leader. I was here before it was a hashtag. I saw what he did for this country. I remember making phone calls where you only had to dial the last 4 digits. Donald Trump was a wrecking ball to the corrupt bipartisan consensus that was selling this country down the river. Let the fakes and the phonies have their moment. Let them posture. Let them preen for the very swamp creatures he went to Washington to fight for. They're all flies buzzing around a lion. Annoying? Yeah, it is. A threat? Not in the slightest. Their 15 minutes will be up. But the movement, the America First movement, endures. And it endures with the man who started it. We know who the real deal is. And unlike them, we aren't for sale. And I know a lot of you are older than me. And you've lived through tough times. You remember sitting in line waiting for gas, depending on what day you were assigned because of a couple of letters on your license plate. And now we've got these people that are calling you out, calling me out, because we're old and we just don't get it. And there's this younger crowd that's going to teach us how to take care of things. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm not into that. I'm not into it. And I respect people that have a little mileage on them. My mechanic on my truck is in his late 70s. I think he's 77. You know what? That carburetor is double pumping right now. And I'll show you something else. My watch, this watch, I bought it with my very first paycheck from the United States Navy back in the early 90s. I don't quit on things until they really expire. And even after that, the movement is going to go on. Guys, we've got a lot to talk about. And today, the swamp, well, it's getting deep, real deep. Be careful who you follow and who you take advice from. I've got t-shirts older than some of these assholes that are preaching to me about how virtuous they are. Part of the swamp is right here. This is George Soros and his loser son that just married Huma Abedin, Hillary's lover. The swamp is deep and it's murky, and the creatures in it are getting desperate. They're lashing out. President Trump and his administration did something that is just common sense. It's so logical, so in line with the actual law of the land that, of course, it has sent the radical left into a full-blown five-alarm panic. Department of Homeland Security, under the leadership of Kristi Noem, announced that they are ending something called temporary protected rights for migrants from a few countries. Let's focus on the word temporary. Temporary. It's not difficult. It was meant for people to come here for a short time to escape the disaster of the S-hole or conflict that they were living in and then go home. Return home. That's the key. But what happened? You know what's happened? Since the days of the Clinton administration, temporary has become a joke. It's become a de facto amnesty program, a backdoor pipeline. Presidents, both Republican and Democrat, just kept kicking the can down the road, extending it. And temporary meant forever. It's a classic case of Washington speak where words have no meaning. So Trump comes along and says, enough. The law is the law. Temporary means temporary. We have a nation of laws and we have borders. And what happens? What do you think happens? Of course, a lawsuit. And who's behind it? I showed you. George Soros, the machine, and his son Alex, the architects of open borders, the financiers of chaos. They're pouring millions and millions of dollars into these left-wing, non-governmental organizations, these NGOs, to sue the United States government and stop the president from enforcing our laws. Your tax money will be involved in this. I'll name the names. The National Day Labor Organizing Network. Sounds noble, doesn't it? They've taken millions from the Soros Open Society Foundation. The Haitian Bridge Alliance. Another $500,000 from the Soros family. This isn't some organic grassroots movement of downtrodden migrants. This is AstroTurf. It is manufactured, well-funded political operation designed for one purpose only, to undermine American sovereignty. And what is their legal argument? What is the brilliant, high-minded principle they're standing on? Racism. It's always racism. It's the last refuge of intellectual bankruptcy. They're actually claiming in a court of law that Trump and his team are ending this program because they're racist and are targeting non-white, non-European people. It's so predictable. It's pathetic. They can't argue on their merits. They can't defend the idea that temporary should mean permanent, so they pull a race card. They smear good people who are simply trying to follow the law, like you and I, that we want to not have to press 1 for English. Make no mistake, my friends, this isn't just about this temporary program. This is about everything. This is the same network that sues to stop the enforcement of immigration laws. Same network that fights to keep birthright citizenship for children of illegals. Same network that wants to erase our borders entirely. This is a battle for the soul of our damn country. Battle between those of us who believe America's sovereign nation with a right to decide who comes here, and a globalist radical left that believes borders are immoral and that anyone from anywhere has a right to our country, our jobs, and our resources. And all these people have bodyguards and live behind giant walls. They have drivers, housekeepers. It's all dark money, activist lawyers. Most vile, baseless accusations you can imagine. Because we see them. We see exactly what they're doing. And I'm not going to let up until we stop them. Let's get right into this. We got a lot to talk about today. It's a Friday. I love a Friday. You're going to see a lot of these conservative influencers I was talking about because we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Butler, Pennsylvania. Suddenly they're going to be clutching their pearls, and we love Trump after they've just been, shitting on his leg for the last 3 months. People are disgusting. Let's grab some more stuff here. Got a lot to talk about today. The Pharisees are alive and well in Eurotrash. Yeah, most of them are Philistines. You remember those? Look at this. Don't ever forget this. A network of NGOs tied to George Soros and Alex is backing legal efforts to block Trump and block the efforts to get rid of these people. Do you notice something here? You know, if I was in a country that I didn't want to leave, I would probably not be waving the flag of the country that I left. They look very proud of Mexico. They're very proud of them to wave their flag. Why are they so proud of Mexico that they don't want to go back? That's what pisses me off. That's what really chaps my ass. Swear jar deposit. Okay? Listen to Hillary. She hates me.
If the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm. If the platform...
Yeah, she wants us under her control. She wants to filter us. If you or a loved one is on Medicare, listen up. The Department of Justice just filed fraud complaints against 3 of the largest Medicare brokers for steering seniors to plans that had the highest kickbacks and not the best plans for you. This is why I recommend Chapter. Founded after the creator's own parents were scammed, Chapter is fully independent and searches every Medicare plan available to find what actually fits your need. No steering, no pressure, just honest help at zero cost to you. Chapter has saved the average senior over $1,100. If you need help with Medicare, call Chapter at 332-867-1305. You'll talk to a real person here in the United States. No pressing 1 for English. They're going to find the right plan for you. That's 332-867-1305. The number and the link will be in the description below. They helped a family member of mine, and she saved over $1,200. Give them a call. Love you, Mom. A lot of people want to filter us. Well, guess what, Hillary? Not happening. Here's another one. This didn't go well for CNN. Not well at all. This is talking about all of the rainmakers. You know, the little stick that you turn that makes a funny noise. Caitlin Collins looks like Scott Pressler. I know. Listen to what happens here. This goes completely sideways.
When you are accused of engineering the weather and weather modification, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I think that this is a very consequential technology, right? Not just anybody should be allowed to modify the weather. There should be oversight and transparency. And so
he didn't deny it. He said, yeah, not everybody should be allowed to do it. I've got a good mullet. Let me do it. It's pretty amazing to see that they just openly admit it. Marjorie Taylor Greene has just introduced a bill to eliminate capital gains tax on your home. Marjorie's been on fire lately. She put up a bill for cloud seeding, weather modification. No one's opposed it. No one said that she was wrong. Now she's coming out with a tax or a bill to remove the taxes that you pay. Let's say you buy a house for $100,000. Property values go up. You sell it for $200,000. You should not have to pay taxes on that gain, that $100,000 increase on the value. That's what she's putting forward. We're going to see the real people that want you to be successful. The people that want you to pay taxes on that don't like you. They just like your money and they want to take it. If I bought my old truck a while back. I negotiated a good deal on it. Somebody comes along and wants to buy it, it'd take a lot to get rid of it. But why should I pay taxes on that improvements that I've made, that new carburetor, disc brakes? I think my 8-track player works pretty good. Why should I pay taxes on that? I shouldn't. And Marjorie, I got to give Marjorie a huge
amen.
Boom shakalaka.
Hallelujah. And boom shakalaka.
Marjorie is on fire. Speaking of on fire, last night in California, it comes to find out that these marijuana fields, that's right, that's the cash crop, literal cash crop for California. They had a bunch of kids working there, unaccompanied alien children. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but let's listen to this clip. Trace Gallagher got cut in because, we're about to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Butler, Donald Trump's literal intervention by an angel on live TV. There was an intervention by a guardian angel to deflect, deter, make him turn his head to the right. We all witnessed it. Even CNN, that had never broadcast one of the rallies, magically was there dancing with the devil. The devil lost. We won. And you're going to see all the woke right MAGA fall in line. Jeremy will probably come out with another line of cookbooks.
Who was killed that day, still looking for answers. But we begin with Matt Finn. He's live with more on the growing violence against ICE. Matt, good evening.
Trace, good evening. 2 federal sources tell Fox tonight that hundreds of people have been taken into custody during an hours-long immigration sweep at 2 farming locations in Carpinteria and Camarillo, California. Tear gas and smoke bombs were launched into the crowds of protesters, clashing with immigration agents. Some people were transported to the hospital. Others were taken into custody for interfering with federal officers. Protesters could be seen throwing rocks at this black SUV. And tonight, sources tell Fox the feds are investigating the possibility of an active shooter at the scene. Investigators searched for shell casings and are using facial recognition to identify the suspect. This all started much earlier in the day. Federal sources tell Fox.
Okay. Did you see that? This person is actually firing at agents. I am ready for a Black Hawk helicopter to start rolling through, and the song I want to hear is the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black. And then I want to hear some crew-served weapons. I am tired of playing with these people. When you play with shit, your hands are going to stink. And it's time we cleanse this. We need hell, fire, and brimstone to rain down on these criminals. Paint It Black, one of the greatest songs ever written. I want to hear that. Maybe a little Fortunate Son by CCR. And then I want to hear a crew-served weapon, a 240, a 249, M60. That's what I want to hear happen next. 30 Mike. Thank you for the super chats. We're going to get to these. At Home with Tom and Rhonda. Yeah, I see that, Rhonda. I see that. We're going to get to all this stuff. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for breaking the seal on it.
Much earlier in the day, federal sources tell Fox they had a criminal warrant to get onto the properties based on evidence illegal aliens were being harbored there. The properties are believed to be tied to a company called Glass House Brands, which has a state license to grow marijuana. And in San Francisco earlier this week, a group of protesters were seen in an intense clash with immigration agents outside of a courthouse. It was reportedly over a specific migrant. Video shows mass protesters scuffling with ICE agents who use batons. Some can be heard screaming, "Get away from my gun." No reports of injuries from this heated interaction, Trace.
Have you had enough with this crap? I really believe I've had enough of the attacks on law enforcement, the attacks on people just doing their job. I don't go bother them when they're making fries at McDonald's. I don't want to bother people at their job. Rhonda, over 65 should not pay property tax or capital tax, period. Why should we lose our home because we are living on Social Security? It's not enough to pay the taxes and all the bills. Thank you, Tom and Rhonda. You're absolutely right. And you guys, I think you're both nurses. There's no way you should be paying this stuff until you die. Southern Ninja. I love Paint It Black, Ben. That's the song of real justice. We need this. We need a cleansing right now. Okay? I've had enough, and I think a lot of you have had enough with these clowns. Let's do a little poll in the chat. I see a poll in the chat right now. Favorite news story happening right now? ICE raids in California, George Soros sues Trump, cloud seeding, illegals losing benefits. 42% illegals losing benefits. Illegal MJing, it is not a farm. I think in California it's legal, but it's against federal. I think marijuana is still a federal